Well, hello to What the Weather, episode 2. We actually made it.
Yeah.
2 episodes now. And tonight, we actually have a camera for James Skivers, co-host. Hello, James. Say hi.
Hey, how's it going?
No, smile.
I'm smiling.
That's your smile. Okay,
Well, I'm not smiling as big because I think the camera shut off. So let me figure that out. You guys keep going, though. You're fine.
Okay, well, sort that out.
Yep, working on it.
Okay, anywho, but tonight we have an out-of-house guest. The one, the only Jeremy Dawson, who is a musician and a storm chaser. And when I met him, I was like, mind blown. So, hi, Jeremy. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. I'm so glad that you came all the way up here to Kansas City from Los Angeles. That's where you live, right?
I live in Los Angeles. I live in specifically Los Feliz. Probably nobody knows what that means, but neighborhood.
But where are you from?
I was born in the South Texas, and I was raised in Plainview. You know where Plainview is?
Oh, yeah.
It's right by Canyon, Amarillo. And then I moved to Oklahoma in the 5th grade. I lived in Shawnee until I was 18. And then I got the hell out of there. Went to L.A.
And then said, piss on this, I'm out of here.
It actually wasn't a piss on this. It was like,
but you're a Midwestern boy, basically. Oh, yeah. I mean, you weren't born in L.A., you lived there.
Oh, no, yeah, I'm actually Texan.
You're a Texan. Well, still
I was in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I was in Oklahoma a long time, so I can very much claim Oklahoma too.
Oh, sure.
For sure, that's where.
That's cool. And you've lived in LA for how long?
Way too long. 19 years.
19 years. Oh my God. So that's a lot of traffic.
It's a lot of traffic. I don't drive anymore. I
don't blame you.
I have a vehicle there, but like, especially with the scooter thing, like there's no need. Like, if I drive, it's because I have to move equipment from one spot to the other. Otherwise, I will not get behind the wheel of a car. There's subways. I have a bicycle. There's scooters. There is a way to get to your destination without getting stuck in traffic. Traffic's insane. It's not even that. There's a lot of people do not. I mean, everyone says this about their city. Like, nobody knows how to drive in blank. In LA, it's different because you have a lot of people who do not have a driver's license and are driving and barely know how to operate a vehicle. You have a lot of people that have been up for 2, 3, 4 days. Like the 5, the 101.
Yeah. I mean, those are the ones I know because I've been at LA several times because of our mutual friends.
Well, you also know that from the SNL skit. Take the 10 to the 101 to the 10 to the 118.
And then, what are you doing here? Yeah. Try.
People actually talk like that. I swear to God. Like, dude, take the 10 to the 110 to the 1.
And then get off on Mulholland Drive and just get out here, okay?
Yeah. I had a roommate that literally talked like that. It was really bad.
Oh, that's crazy. They really do. That's funny.
And the funny thing is she's from Atlanta. So it's like, it's a developed accent. You don't actually...
Sorry.
It's like a thing.
Seriously, my eyes are watering. I'm cracking up.
Yeah, that's not a real accent. It's a fictitious accent.
Right, but the people on both coasts make fun of our accents because, we're from the Midwest, so in theory, we talk like this all the time.
But you don't talk like that all the time. And neither does John.
I just talk like this when I want to.
I mean, I can pull it out. There's a very different, I think, there's the Texan accent, Texan. And then there's Oklahoma.
Yep. Yeah, boy, what are you doing?
Kinda. Oklahoma is confused, so we don't know if we're redneck, hillbilly.
I'm sorry, that's funny.
You got to remember, like we're stuck. We're right in the middle. So we have that Texan vibe, and we have that Midwestern, slightly stained like acid wash jeans Kansas vibe. And then we have hillbilly Arkansas.
I'm going to need some tissues or something.
So you have all of this
so
mixed together. And then on top of that, we just got an NBA team in the past 10 years. So now everyone's like really confused. So you'll see like in Oklahoma, 4-tooth redneck dude with a giant Confederate flag in his truck and a Oklahoma City Thunder sticker on it. And he's on his way to the game. And he has no idea that is sort of contradictory to go watch an NBA team that is 90% African American with his giant Confederate flag. He thinks that's fine.
Perfectly normal.
Yeah, that's Oklahoma, but not everyone's like that. Oklahoma has a vibrant underground community. There's a lot of art. There's culture.
Yeah, I need a Kleenex.
Things have been. Oklahoma's got. I was just in Tulsa and I DJ'd at a 20,000 square foot warehouse.
Weekend,
yeah, it was insane.
That's the only reason why I got to get you here.
Oklahoma's great. Texas is great too. Parts of it. It's actually just not.
So, what'd you think about your Oklahoma gig?
It was good. It was great. The Saturday night was a little better because Friday it just poured all night long, and it was cold and rainy. And people like to go out on Saturdays more. Some people have to work on Saturdays, so going out on a Saturday night is usually more thing. In LA, people go out on Tuesday nights because
why Tuesdays in LA?
Because of the bridge and tunnel syndrome. So if you know about
no way.
So in New York City, they call it the bridge and tunnel. So that means on the weekend, everybody from Connecticut, New Jersey, Mass, and Pennsylvania infiltrates the Lower East Side and just fills the bars up with people that get violently drunk and clog up the roads. In LA, we have like Ventura County, Santa Barbara, Inland Empire, San Diego. All these people drive into LA. We call them weekend warriors. So they work at Geico, and they will literally rent. They will rent a Mercedes on a Friday. They'll spend their whole check.
You know what? If you get tired of being a musician, you could be a comic. Seriously, dude.
And they cruise around Hollywood in a rented Mercedes that they spent their entire check on to give the emulation to the women that I own a 5 Series Mercedes, even though I live 45 miles away. I live with my mom and I work at Geico. But if that's what they want to do, it's fine.
You know what? To each their own.
Yeah.
Can I talk about how I met you?
Yeah.
And how I actually saw you for the first time? Hold on. I need take a drink here. Hold on 1 second. JacerCon. What year did you go?
That was 09?
What was the first year?
Was it 09 or 08?
Yeah, I don't know.
Somewhere around.
9 or 8.
Yeah, somewhere around then.
Had you only been to one?
No, I think that was my
was your
first
first
one.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, it definitely was your first.
The first
and
one,
that goes into my story. But
yeah.
I mean,
And I was there for your second year
that's right. You were.
in 2009. So
Okay, so it was
so it
8.
would have been 08.
It would have been
So it was
08.
08.
Yep.
And you.
So remember, I went another year and you weren't there. Like a few years ago or 3 or 4.
Oh, that was Norman.
Was it Norman?
I didn't go to Norman.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a lot of stuff to do. But you walked in 08, and John and I had a vendor table that year. And I was like, when you both walked in, even your actor buddy, the guy that played
Tommy. Did he go with me?
Yeah, the guy who played the clown.
Yeah. Tommy Snyder. He's like.
In your band, Shiny Toy Guns.
Right.
And he played the crazy clown.
Yeah.
And you both walked in all freaking just punked out, like all get out, like fuck all, I don't care, I'm just here. And I was like, introduce us, because you stood out. I was like, oh my God, that is so
You're
cool.
kind of weirdo.
I was like, yeah, you're
That's
a
how I latched
weirdo.
on.
I was like, I want to meet you like now.
We probably just had on normal day clothes, but that's still going to sort of be off to the left.
Well, at ChaserCon it is. I mean, yeah, everybody pretty much dresses. I mean, with all respect to my ChaserCon friends, I mean, we all kind of wear the same kind of clothes, but you guys just came just totally goth punked out, just you just let your freak fly flow. And I was like,
you make it sound like we're dressed in like a patent leather bodysuit.
You might as well have at ChaserCon.
I'm
we're talking about ChaserCon, so it doesn't matter. But I was like, yeah, I want to meet him. I want to meet him like right now. So I couldn't wait to meet you. And so when I did, and I found out how much you actually know. You and John, by the end of that night when we met, you were writing out skewed teas on a freaking cocktail.
Oh, I definitely wasn't writing a skewed tea. I was probably watching.
No, you
John
were.
write.
You were writing. You were talking about Cape, and you wanted to explain it to John. I was watching. Uh-oh. Do we have to bring out the Met?
Is it already? It's early.
Already?
We're already blowing it. Blowing it.
All right. All right. Wake up the Met. Bring him out.
I was stoked last year, that Tim had those blank, what do you call it? Where the machine, where you can write on it and wipe it off, the laminate.
Oh,
Tim Vasquez had those laminates of like blank photographs where you could like sit there with a.
Yeah, I kind of remember that.
Yeah, of course he sold them for like $800 a piece. Just kidding, Tim. But like everybody bought one, and I gave in, and I bought one too.
Yeah. Well, I remember you were asking me questions about, well, what does this mean? You were drawing things out, and I was just trying to explain it a little better because you were getting it. I remember that.
Yeah. I just want to learn. Like when I started, there's definitely not time for me to go to school. So I went.
Yeah, and so by the way, why did you show up there, and why?
Oh,
I mean, what got you into chasing in the first place? Tell me about. Let's talk about your life first. So
okay,
so our audience knows about. Yeah, where do you?
Like chase wise, how did I get into chasing?
Your whole life, man.
Yeah,
you just start from the beginning.
So,
where do you come from?
I want to say it was 1954.
I've been doing this for 65 years.
It was like 87 or 88, and it was one of the bigger Shawnee, Oklahoma tornadoes, and we lived north of town. And I remember it was like it was a night tornado. It was like 3 or 4 in the morning.
Wait, where did you live?
In Shawnee, Oklahoma.
Oh, you lived in Shawnee.
Yeah, but we were way north. Like we had a bunch of land, like way out.
Oh, okay.
Sort of the more like Sac and Fox, more like native.
So how old were you at this time?
87, 8.
So like, were you even born then? Really?
I was a kid. I had G.I. Joes.
I was gonna say you were young. You look
Transformers.
very young.
Yeah, that was about the same age I was when I saw my first tornado.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So it was like, I mean, it had been raining and storming all night, and then like later on that night, I guess things got really, really bad. And we don't have sirens out there. There's no sirens. They have them now, but back we burned our trash. It was that out in the country. Like it was a thing. Like in the winter, we'd lose power for 20, 30 days. Just way, way, way out there. Like
So you grew up knowing to look at weather.
Yeah. Well, I was always upset. I was always interested in, but I was also 7. So I was not, I had no idea what. I just knew that whenever there was a thunderstorm, when the first reaction is like, oh my, this is scary and loud. I was always like, shade up. Like, and I remember my dad comes running in the room, and he's like, and he just grabs me. He's like, come now. And like, we go into the hall bathroom. My mom and my baby sister are already in the bathtub. And he's like, boom, footy pajamas, throws me in the bathtub. And he's like, boom, mattress. And like this tornado, this storm, it missed the house altogether, but he knew sort of what to do. And so
right.
It hit Oklahoma Baptist University, and right across the street, there's this street called Kickapoo. It's like the drag of Shawnee. And there was this movie store called Movie Land, like VHS thing.
Oh, right.
And it just, took the roof off. It blew away the pizza joint next door. And I remember I was trying to get out of the bathtub and go look at the storm, and my dad's screaming at me because I was just like literally didn't care. I was like, I got to see this. I got to see this because supposedly there was a tornado, and I wanted to see. You couldn't see anything. It was like,
Yeah.
you know, we were probably in the rain core at that point. We were on the backside of it because the storm was east of us. We were west and north.
RFD.
Yeah, it was just blinding, just garbage coming down. But we got some hail. Like, it screwed up. We had a wood shingle roof, and like cost my parents like a buttload of money to fix that. Like any
So
hailstorm.
was that it? I mean, after that?
That was no. That just being in that environment was like, from that point on, I started to really like. That's anytime there was a storm, I would beg him to. I'd want to drive to it or go see it. You know, when I wasn't distracted by other normal
cool
kid stuff. I mean, ish. It wasn't like that was the only thing I was focused on. I was also I played piano and had friends, and so it wasn't like I was like all weather, but it was like that. I remember that storm specifically was like it was no longer like, oh, look.
It was like a catalyst to
right.
to drive you
to
do this at least as a hobby, you know?
Yeah.
That's
that was the first thing.
And that's what happens.
I think everybody has that one storm.
Pretty much every storm chaser, it's because of
some defining
storm.
moment of some kind that just
Right. Yeah, we all have that one storm that it's like, and I kind of think that we all kind of have that. Well, I know for me, that one storm, it's just, I want that back so I could see it again, knowing what I know now, so I could figure out what was going on, you know.
Yeah.
Anywho, so that got you into it, and
like that. That was that's when I knew that. That's when something. It was more than just like, oh, this is cool. I'm going to look out my window, and that was like, I want to make an effort offensively to get into or closer to that, not just be a spectator when the next one passes over my house.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Oh no, that totally makes sense. You want to learn more about it,
right? You
wanted to figure out why.
Yeah,
I'm assuming.
And I had to wait until I got a driver's license before I could do anything. But yeah, it was
so is that what you did? I mean,
yeah. Well, I mean, I had a couple of situations where we'd be with people who had a car, and we were probably wasted, and like, oh look, there's a cloud and it's black. Let's drive
that way.
it. Yeah.
What, you did that too?
Several times.
Oh, I got it. I can't. I've driven.
I love you both dearly.
I had one friend, he didn't even have functional windshield wipers. We took shoestrings from another friend's mom's shoes and operate. Yeah,
I don't
it was
the
dumbest thing we've ever.
And you give me crap.
Oh,
really?
We got cored so bad that day. So
I can't tell you how many times.
Even I can say I've never done that.
Don't do it. Yeah, I don't advise it to anybody.
John, you?
I had to chase from the backyard because my parents wouldn't. Well, I learned how to drive when I was 16, 17, whatever you can do that. I can't even remember the age.
But you didn't do anything.
I didn't storm chase. I didn't know that you could really do that, and my parents certainly would not have approved of it. So I didn't chase until I was an adult sometime, when I finally figured out, hey, you can go out and do this thing, sure. So, exactly.
So when did you got your license?
Yeah, so I hope I'm going to be accurate, like date wise, but I don't remember like when. As soon as I could drive, it was more of a local situation when we knew. Remember I'm in Oklahoma, so I have the power of the omnipotent God of all weather, Gary England.
Oh yes, I would agree with you. Definitely,
he's kind of teetered off into
goofball
land at this point.
He's tired and he's done his job.
Yeah. His tweet.
I'm sure.
Follow him on Twitter. He just says the craziest crap lately.
Check that out.
Well, because he's already done his job. He doesn't give a crap. He's like, piss on it. This is what I have to say. So, you know what? If you don't like it, suck it. I'm done.
No, but like that,
he saved a lot of lives. So, he has the right to say whatever he wants.
I love it.
It
was the most exciting thing in the world. It's like a football game when you see Gary like get all crazy and he takes his jacket off.
Oh yeah.
It's like
it's game time.
I'm gonna have we would just get stoked, and so it was more of a local thing. Like when when the banners are going across the TV screen, that's when we would roll. Like we didn't know. Some of the early rigs we had were like a battery-powered black and white TV. We had no cell phone, obviously no cell phones. The early mid-90s.
It's payphone day still.
Yeah, there was. There were some other people, some OU meteorology students that were also in the club scene that I worked in. I was a DJ and a promoter back then,
right,
in Oklahoma City, and a couple of the other guys were in school, and one of them was super tech savvy, and he had this like black box thing where we would go to a payphone and hotbox it, like and get on the internet. Payphone. Yeah, you could trick the payphone by having a recording device play specific tones.
Just so you know, for some of our audience that are millennials, a payphone is a place where you'd actually put change in and then pick up. Oh, our mascot's here, and put your change in, and then like pick up the phone and dial the number, and then you get a person.
Yeah.
Okay, get away, mascot.
So we would, because like back then, like you'd have two choices. You can either get what you can get from AM 1000, which is like news, talk, and weather on your car.
Right.
You could call the National Weather Service, which they didn't really like. You could sort of nowcast with someone who's watching TV.
Phone a friend.
That's
your lifeline.
Yeah. Or you could literally stop by a National Weather Service office, which we were too scared to do. I didn't feel authorized or cool enough to do that. I wasn't like a meteorology student. I didn't even know what to ask for at that point.
Our mascot's mad. Sorry.
But we would hotbox. We would black box these payphones to get an internet signal.
Okay.
And
boy, that is super old school.
Yeah. I remember one time we did that.
And also criminal.
Super criminal. Yeah.
I'm impressed.
One time we were at one of these payphones. I don't think we were doing that. I think we were literally using the payphone.
Right.
And so it was like a random, it was in Kansas. It was a random payphone at a closed down business, and it was connected to a pole, like a huge street light pole, right? And the street light was lighting up the area. That street light got hit by lightning when we were parked under it, and we weren't on the phone. We had finished, but we were just sitting there like talking about what we were going to do next.
Oh shit!
That was the loudest thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
Wake you up a little bit?
I'm sure some of you guys have been really close to like, because an actual lightning strike is a clap.
Is that somebody telling you don't do that anymore?
It was crazy. I've had more than one lightning situation. Like one time I jumped into a girl's arms. Like I didn't mean to.
Oh God.
No, and she was like 100 pounds. Like, no, we were hiding under a gas station awning, and it hit within 100 feet. And for just mechanically, I just jumped, and she caught
just impulse.
Me. Yeah, it was because it was so loud.
So
loud.
Well, you're a skinny, tall drink of water. So did she like catch you?
Yeah, she's a dancer. She's like a gymnast.
Oh, so she got you.
Yeah, she could probably beat me.
She probably did a backflip with you, and then you're all good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome sauce. So fast forward to you go to ChaserCon. You've been chasing, obviously, for years.
Yeah, since 97, 96, 95. Actually, 95.
And I'm going to talk about...
I don't want to say chasing.
I want to talk about...
Driving after clouds was the first few years.
Yeah, you didn't really know. I mean, storm chase, that term wasn't really coined until... I mean, I didn't know I was storm chasing either when I started storm chasing.
Yeah,
it wasn't until I went to ChaserCon that I was like, oh, there's these other people and there's storm chasers too.
Yeah.
Right.
I remember chasing storms, and then I remember chasing storms after Twister, and it was very different.
Really?
Yeah, things were different then. Not in a bad way, but like it was just like, even to this day, if I say anything about weather, they're like, Twister. Still, which is fine.
Do you know how many shit I get? I mean, seriously.
It's a great movie.
Like,
it's like
she's lovely and all, but...
The cloud CGI wasn't
she's
amazing,
an actress. I'm a chaser.
Yeah.
But did you chase the May 3rd, 99?
Yep, absolutely.
Which one
all
were you
day
on?
long. So I started in Lawton.
Really?
So I was way down there. And I moved to, I was literally, I think I was on 118th Street and Moore. And I literally, I stopped, got gas and cigarettes, candy or whatever. And I saw the people under the overpass that later were killed.
No.
It's that overpass.
Really?
Yeah. I think. I remember, yeah. And like they were.
It was
like,
off of I-35, if memory serves.
Is it 35 or 44?
Ooh, geez.
I think it
Bring
was
out
44.
Bring out the mat.
I think it was 44 because it's southeast,
Well,
southwest Moore.
Do you know where the ones that got?
It's right when 44 was approaching Moore.
I believe it was 44.
Yeah, because
when
30
it came up there.
35, that tornado,
Southeast of the
or
airport.
all of those tornadoes didn't hit 35. Everything was going northeast.
Oh,
It was
okay.
all,
Yeah.
That's because I don't know exactly where they.
so that it passed me. I was chasing in a black Nissan 240 SX
Wow.
that was dropped down, and then my chase buddy, we were in two different cars. Like we had a cell phone at this point, which was 33 cents a minute off peak. Remember those? Like it's like doot, 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 doot. And so Russ T-Bolt was he was a student at OU. So he's in front of me. He lives in Del City.
Okay.
He lost his house that day. Oh, we left his house.
Was he a
never went back.
student or just?
He was a meteorology student.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he actually that was I think it was his minor, and his major was IT, which
Right.
he lives in Denver.
Oh, that would fit. So.
Yeah, he's making
Okay.
tons of money not chasing storms right now.
Really?
A lot, yeah, doing computers.
Yeah,
He has a plane, just so you know. He like flies planes.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess
He's doing great.
To everybody out there, do not get into meteorology, get into IT.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to make
like-
about
he's a code
lot
guy.
of money. Oh, Skywers, you can attest because that's your thing.
I do. Yeah. Pays the bills.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, nope.
Yeah,
So,
no plan.
but back to that day. Yeah.
Yeah, so
it sounds like you
Left my
did.
G6 parked
I
in the
was,
driveway.
again, we have no, there's no mobile radar, but that
But
was
it sounds like-
it was a highly visible storm. Like there's, was there 2 or 3 major, major supercells that were just sort of cruising, if I remember right.
I'll be honest with you, I can't remember. I know there was at least 2.
Yeah.
And
I had my
one further north of Oklahoma City as well,
So and I had my little mobile TV. All I had was a video camera, a mobile TV, a national, like a radio.
Right.
Didn't have a CB or like a ham or anything yet, and a little cell phone. And
Was this your first major tornado
yes, this is my first
as a storm chaser?
Yeah, like this one was. So I'm following it. I was on I-44, which sucked because after a while there's there's not a bunch of exits when it's turnpike.
Right.
And I jumped off at, I want to say Valley Village where all the strip clubs are, and not that I've ever been. No, Valley Village is in LA. It's not Valley Village. It's
reference. I mean, hey,
it's like
more power to you.
southwest Oklahoma City, Moore area.
Yeah.
And it got in front of me, and I could not. And I was like, well, I'm just going to catch up to it. I had no idea what it was doing because
Right.
the tornado
Was it rain wrapped at that point?
It was from the back. I couldn't see the tornado. I had no idea that there
RFD was surrounding it.
Right. So I just see this blob, and I didn't know that right in front of that to the southeast was a EF4, EF5 wedge.
Right.
And so the road that I'm driving on suddenly is just a war zone. And I'm driving. Literally, there's power lines falling in front of me like a film.
Whoa.
And I'm driving around. I mean, I wasn't dodging poles, but I could see bam, bam, and they would fall. And I'm driving, and I hit a wire, and it wrapped around my rear axle.
No.
Like that, and pulled me like that. And I let go of the wheel, and I was like, okay.
Was it? I'm assuming it wasn't hot.
No, it was, but I didn't know. And so I'm kind of like this, and I didn't know, because I knew the steering wheel and the door are the conductors in a car. Like if that's because the steering wheel goes to the steering column, it goes to the front axle. And I finally got enough balls to open the door. It was just the stupid support wire, the steel cable that it wasn't even an electric line. I ran over the cable.
Oh, I
cable.
understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By that point, the storm was way out in front of me. Yeah, and so of course I'm 18, so I grabbed the camera and start running after the storm. I thought that was
look.
And then
you're 18, so that makes sense.
And I get right to this neighborhood, and I'd never seen this before. So I walk in a neighborhood, and it's like I'm like sneezing, eyes watering. All you hear is like just gas shooting and all the
no. So you went into a decimated neighborhood.
I was in the trailer park area, and all I could see was like all these people in like their bathrobes, blood all over them, people screaming.
What'd you do?
I just, what I didn't do was film. I mean, maybe that's a good thing, but I was just like,
I wouldn't film.
No, I was just in shock. I mean, I had never seen anything like this. Like it wasn't funny or cool anymore. Like it was like people there. You could hear people literally screaming in pain. There's like the ambulances were not even there. They were on the way.
How could you not have PTSD after that? I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean,
it was. And then I called Russ, and he's like screaming on the phone, "Where's my parents? Where's my parents? I have to call you back." See, his house was completely destroyed, and his parents weren't there. And they were there when we left. They had went to the neighbors who had a basement, so they're fine. But his whole block is gone.
Wow.
And then I finally got my car and got out, and I got back over to Midwest City or Del City around I-40. I remember walking up to Rose State College, and it's a little community college on I-40 in Del City. So Hudeberg Chevrolet, there's a bunch of big car dealers right there. Unbelievable. Like
it's gone.
Hundreds of used brand new cars. Like all the windshields are gone. They're upside down. They're like just tossed. Signs blown over. Hotels completely destroyed.
I mean, as you're going along from A, B, C, D of destruction, how is an 18-year-old thinking? I mean, what are you thinking
I'm just
in your
smoking
mind
cigarettes. Just going. Yeah, it was just it was. I felt like that. It was just this weird.
I mean,
weird like fight or flight.
How do you even process that at 18? I mean, doing that as a chaser at 18 years old.
It was.
I mean,
I was just trying.
Bad.
I was just trying to get some video of like some cool lightning or maybe a tornado.
How did
and
you
that's
feel?
not. I was just shocked but not. It didn't like freak me completely out. Like I kept going. Like once I remember I walked up to Rose State College, and I walked up to the concrete and adobe walls of this university, and I was snapping twigs that were in the wall, like that. Little bitty twigs that were inside the wall.
Wow.
They were just branches of trees that penetrated. I mean, it wasn't solid concrete. It was probably some crappy,
But still.
Still, it was, I'm definitely not
putting.
That's
not right.
Like, I couldn't hammer a nail into this.
Right.
But a tree branch went into it.
Yeah.
And then I kept going towards Tulsa. So I'm driving down. I'm not done. I get on I-44, and I'm going, because I'm not sure if this was the same exact storm, but the tornado's still on the ground, and it's literally because of the Jet Max it seems to follow I-44 a lot, like upper airwise.
It was the upper air winds were driving that.
It's literally like it was on the highway. It just followed the highway all the way up to Tulsa, and I'm driving. It was unbelievable. All the semis are in the median, just wheels like this.
Just done.
Big old truck drivers scratching their heads.
Like the median was just one big
the trucks
ball
weren't. The trucks weren't smashed. Windshields weren't even broken.
They were just shoved.
Just set down on their tops.
Ah.
Like fully.
That's messed up.
Complete trucks.
Wow.
With I'm sure there's damage more than what I saw, but like no injuries. The driver's like walking around. He was just upside down, where they just went, just tipped over. He was probably stopped.
It sounds like they were probably in the RFD of that. What do you think, John?
Possible. That's possible. It's hard.
But it was. I mean, it was like
that's just.
I made
insane.
it as far as.
So you're 18.
Yeah.
Seeing all this.
Made it halfway. Probably to Chandler. I was probably close to Highway 18 when I finally stopped.
Okay.
And you decided you wanted to keep chasing.
Are you kidding me? Yeah. I mean, after that, like,
okay.
I see at this point, I thought, okay, this is what it's like.
Mm-hmm.
So
but clearly, it's not like that. But it was like I thought this is like a normal thing. That's my next question.
What did you think after that? You want to? I mean, did you think that chasing was different than what you first thought?
Yeah, I mean, 'cause I had went out many times before that. Usually 80% of the time, complete bust, or because I didn't know I was chasing an MCS. I didn't know I was chasing a dying squall. I was like, oh, black cloud, lightning, drive. I didn't know until later on. I started to, go buy textbooks used from the OU.
When was that? When did you do that?
Right after that, May 3rd. That's when I was like, I need to learn what's going on.
You started saying, okay, now I want to learn about why this happened.
Right.
It was actually that event that made you
that's when I was like, okay,
want to be a full-on chaser.
Yeah, and I also wanted to be, I wanted to have another purpose besides just getting off on it. Like I signed up with the Red Cross and took first aid and CPR.
Awesome.
I wanted to, I bought a whole bunch of emergency kits and fire extinguishers because I remember the storm I met Randy Dinser at, which is 02, 03. In Lubbock, we had a guy, there's a drunk driving accident out in the hills just north of Lubbock, Texas. And besides that, there was a lightning fire out there. And it took a whole farmer's livelihood away, $100,000 alfalfa crop, one bolt of lightning. And I was like, well, if I have 5 fire extinguishers in my van and I can put out a lightning fire in 5 minutes.
You told me about that.
Yeah.
You put that in your van when I met you.
Yeah, I had a rack of them, like all racked up.
Well, you're really big on trying to help people. And I could tell that 99.
I just want to have some sort of, that was the thing. It was like, because I'm sitting here.
So why'd you go to
with a video
Con?
camera? I mean, and people are bleeding out next to me, and I'm like, there's nothing I can do.
Right. You want to be able to serve a greater purpose than just feeding your own monkey. Yeah, exactly.
No, trust me, I want to go. I want to go chase a tornado all day long too.
Yeah, but I also want to know.
There's a point when you got to stop.
Yeah, but why?
I mean, just like last year when we pulled up on Linwood.
The Linwood story.
Yeah, I want to get to that.
We can get to that later.
But what made you want to get in the community? I mean, community. Because I wanted community.
I wanted to. I noticed, of course, you see Val in his truck, and I started noticing. I would see this. I see Tim Marshall. I started seeing the same people, and then all these other people, and I don't know any of these people. And how do I get to know these people? And then as the internet progressed, started noticing there's forums and message boards, and there's actually a community. And like anything else, it's okay, well, in order for me to, maybe be considered to be a part of this, I need to go where all of them are together. It's if you want to be in.
Was it to learn more, or
it was to learn more and to have community, to get to know people,
you actually,
to network.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I mean, and we're gonna get to.
So
I'd met people
on the side of the road here and there, but I didn't have active relationships. I knew Robin, I knew Jim, Kansas Jim, short-term member.
Jim Reed.
Yeah.
Yep.
I knew Reed. I knew Reed Timmer. Then 2 or 3 of his little henchmen that he always has with him. What's his name? He's always got.
We all have henchmen.
He always has these little
everybody
dudes with him.
I mean, everybody in every little clique thing, because there's cliques everywhere, and everybody
Reed seems to be just perpetually entrepreneur mode. So he always had people with him helping to like
Right.
build
Doing
out
this.
whatever his latest idea was or
Well,
business.
I'm no better. Look at me right now. I'm sitting with 4 dudes or 3 dudes. Sorry, I had 4, but he had.
But you can't. You got to have.
The
if you're gonna
4th
do
was my
anything,
son, and he freaking bailed. So
You have to have
fuck,
you have to have
I
a
mean,
team to do anything.
Yeah,
like
so-
I can't do anything. I mean, I can sit in a studio and make music, but
Yeah. So
if I don't have a
get it.
team,
You
no
have
one
to
can
have
hear
a
the
team.
music.
You got to ping
You have
ideas
to have
off
to-
of. You've got to get somebody who's good at turning wrenches. I mean, there's numbers.
And that's why I found it funny because the teams kind of all like give each other crap all the time. I mean, it's like, oh, this one sucks. This one's shit. This one's this. Whatever. Who cares? We're all doing the same thing, and we're just trying to do what we want to do. So, anywho, so you got yourself.
Yeah, so I decided to go to chaser calling. I didn't even know about it, and I found out I was like, "There's no way there's a chaser calling. Like this is brilliant." And so another reason we went was my record company, Universal at the time, was they wanted to pay to fund a reality show based on Shine Toy Guns, storm chasing music, and they
That's
were going
the band.
The band I was currently in at that time.
Yes.
And Chad, one of the singers and the guitar player, he would chase with me a lot. When Chad was definitely not the guy that was going to go to Iowa City, but he would go to Wichita Falls. Like he would do he had like a 200-mile limit before he's like, nope.
That's it.
But we
I'm
would
done.
go. Yeah. We would go.
My ass is sore.
This is
I
back
wanna
in
go home.
what I like to call the weather tap days, where that's what we used, because I didn't have or know about like GR level. We just had a big old PC laptop with a crappy PCI Wi-Fi card that was so expensive.
Is it in your famous van that you showed me?
Oh, my big van.
Oh, yeah.
That I spent $80,000 on.
Oh, that van
Holy
was
cow.
badass.
Blew the drivetrain.
Oh,
on it.
that actually it is, because you had you bragged about the fire extinguisher.
Oh no, we went way over the top cosmetically, because it was supposed to
sick.
it was supposed to
I
be in
loved
the
it.
show, and so my ignorant thinking, I spent the money on it when there was a budget. There would have been a budget, but of course I wanted it to look cool right now, so I spent the money on it, which is dumb. If I had that money back right now, pay my credit cards.
Honey, we could all,
Oh, yeah.
all,
The
all
stupid
of
thing I
us
did-
could talk about. I wish we could get money back
Yeah.
on a gig that we tried to do.
Problem
with
number one
people,
was
you know.
I took a Ford with a small V8 that already had 160,000 miles on it, and I started putting hundreds of pounds of like armor and gadgets on it without even thinking that was a good idea.
That are going to make it happen.
Yeah, I mean it was a conversion van chassis, so it didn't have the big tow package V8. The rear end was like stock, and
I thought it was sick.
it looked cool, but that thing broke and it broke and it broke. And it
Well,
broke and it
hey,
broke.
you're not the only one. I mean, look at, Casey, Timmer,
Yeah.
those things break.
It's happened to me
They all
before.
break.
I've been down in Oklahoma and just finished shooting a tornado, and transmission boop comes on.
Transmission?
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, once that happens, you're a dinner.
I limped back to Kansas City, I think, in third
Second gear.
gear,
Yeah.
second gear, somewhere in between, awesome 9 miles per gallon. Oh, that was brutal. Oh, it was tough.
Wow.
So, but anyway, you said, all right, fine. And you walk in and you're with your actor friend. He
Yeah.
was the guy who was
Tommy.
and I watched that video after we met. Which,
Yeah, well,
again,
we strung together a goofy promo reel that was not even really a promo reel. It was what a promo reel should
you
have
showed
looked
that
like.
to me at the bar later.
So
That was
what we
awesome.
did was we made that to coerce our record company into giving us $100,000 or $75,000. And Craig Borders, we're going to bring him in.
I think you did great.
Craig was if I'm not mistaken, the producer or the line producer for Sean Casey.
Oh,
It was
okay.
his guy. And I knew Craig in LA, and Craig introduced me to Sean and then all the Nat Geo guys. And we were putting all the pieces together.
Yeah.
Then out of nowhere, we got this huge tour. with another Oklahoma band called All American Rejects. It was like 10,000 seat venues every single night.
Yeah.
And my band is like, we are not shooting a storm chasing show. We are going on this tour. So I was like,
I would actually do
smart.
that.
And so we went on that tour, and that connected to another tour with this band called The Offspring. And
heard of them too.
Right.
And I'm 49. I don't know anything, but yeah, I've heard of both of them. So
classic
I
music, classic music business thing. 6 or 8 months later, when we got off the road, the label's like, "Nah, we're over it. We're not giving you a show." They're like, "Oh."
But
it was hot for a minute, and now they're not hot on it anymore.
Yeah, but that comes.
Unless we weren't like.
It comes back around.
Yeah. I'm glad we didn't do it. To be honest,
you know what? To be honest, knowing you now, I would have taken those gigs over a show.
Oh, we should have. We did.
You did the right thing.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, selfishly, I wanted to do
heartbeat.
more weathery stuff, but the right thing to do was
that
go
was the
play
right
in front of
thing to
10,000
do.
people and make money and stuff.
Well, and by the way, may I just interject real quick because I need to say our intro music is by Bill Stromberg, which you know Bill.
Yeah.
And the guitar is by Wes Stromberg.
That's Bill's son? Okay.
Yes, it's his son. Was a member of Emblem 3, and also a solo artist. And I want to give them big thank yous for doing this music for me for free. So know that.
Yeah,
Thank
great.
you, Bill.
Although they won't take any money, so I'm going to send them a bunch of barbecue sauce from Kansas City.
Oh, because that's the Kansas City thing.
That's the Kansas City thing. So anyways, I just want to say a quick thank you.
Some barbecue sauce.
Do what?
You said you're going to send Bill and Anna some barbecue sauce.
Oh, yes, a lot. Okay. And some, all that.
All right.
Because, they have barbecue in LA. But
you guys introduced me to Bill and Anna at ChaserCon.
Yeah, and they're musicians also. Did you notice there's a big tie from math, science, music? Boom. All three.
There is and there isn't, because you got to remember that a lot of people in music are heavy right brain creatives. And I mean, it's generalizing, but a lot of times, like I'm left-handed, left-footed, right brain.
I'm left.
And
I'm left.
I have a hard time with numbers and math and stuff.
Thank you. God, now I don't feel so bad.
But there's some people that are brilliant at math and science and also creative geniuses. So it's not like everyone's.
I know. Yeah. No.
For me, like it's like.
Honey, I've been in therapy for years, and I subscribe to Psychology Today, and I've read stories about, some are left, some are right, and some are in the middle, and you just never know.
Like I'm hardcore ADHD, and like when I'm at the restaurant and the bill comes, and it's like $22.58, and I'm like, oh God, what's the tip? Oh my God.
Right, me too.
That's Shauna too.
Yep, that's me. My first job was doing tickets at a dollar theater, a really badass theater that Jack Black just went to. The one you sent me the photo on, Skivers.
Oh yeah,
they're on tour right now, right? Tenacious is out. Yeah. I think they just played Dallas a couple of days ago.
They were here but he went there to see Once Upon a Time because they redid it. Really cool. And I used to sell tickets there when I was 15 in the 80s, and it was really badass in the old school.
Is here in Kansas City?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
It's just
only a couple miles south of
What's that big theater down here? I've played it a couple of times. That really
Midland?
Cool. I think it's the Midland.
Midland.
Okay. Yeah,
Midland is the most famous. But anywho, but when I did concession, I was like, it was the old, like we didn't have computers then.
You have the glass booth up at the front.
No. Outside. When I was checking out for concessions.
Oh yeah,
so but I would have to try, and I couldn't figure it out real quick, and I was like, panic.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why I didn't become a med either, so I get it. But it's like I'm interested in what's going on visually and figure it out for myself. But of course, I can't do anything with it. However, that's fine. I'm cool with that.
Yeah,
feel the same?
Yeah.
I mean, but I'm not into math, and I barely passed physics in high school.
Oh, I couldn't pass
Well, I only passed because my teacher went to school with my sister.
Oh, is that one of those deals?
Yeah. She was 20 years
help.
older, so that's the only reason why I passed. But back then I did. I mean, I was into weather still, but I didn't think I was going to be a nut or anything. At that moment, I wanted to be an actress. So I get it.
Yeah.
But I don't get the musician thing because I'm not, but mine was acting. But notice that we are all still, into something. So anyway, so when I met you, I was like, okay, for him to have the balls to walk in here looking so punk rock, I have got to meet you. Yeah.
I definitely didn't. I mean, we definitely came right off an airplane, so there definitely wasn't a deliberate
I loved it.
Outfit to be wearing.
I loved it. I was like, introduce us, please. Please.
It was cool. It was like...
Yeah.
I was like... So,
I was so surprised to walk in and there's like a full-blown rager happening at the hotel bar with Storm Chasers. definitely led and coerced by you.
Yeah, you fell right in. Yeah, of course, led by me. Oh,
Ring
God,
leader.
yeah.
There's like Storm Chasers like laying on the ground in their own vomit. And like, I mean, not really. But.
Hey, I didn't make them do that. That was on their own, of course. I mean, hey, I don't make people drink. I just say, hey, let's have fun. So
no, it was totally fun. Everybody was cool.
Yeah,
it was so neat, like to see, because that's the first time all the different vendors and all this new equipment. What's his name? The dude with he's always peddling the satellite radar program.
Barron. Cliff.
Yeah.
He's a good dude.
Cliff's rad.
Is so sweet.
I've given Cliff a lot of my money.
Sweetheart. Oh yeah.
Oh, because I bought it.
It's worth it.
I bought it, and back then, and I was chasing from 2005 to 2010. Like if you had Barron, you were a step up. If you were not just a badass veteran chaser who didn't need anything, to be able to be like, in the Panhandle or worse, like way up north or something, and just have that constant reflectivity at the exact same, like never like breaking apart. It was just always right there, always worked. Yep. And to be able to have like
that helped us in Joplin. I mean,
which shot 2004 Joplin or 2014?
2011.
Joplin.
Yeah, 2011. We still were using that at that time. Yeah,
we were using Barron's, and
I had Barron until it got stolen. My van got broken into, and they took everything.
Wow.
Yeah,
I mean,
they literally took everything.
So someone,
I was like, what are they going to do with that stupid XM radio box?
Yeah. Good luck activating that.
Right.
Who would steal a Barron's? I mean, unless they were a
people
chaser.
they're just grabbing.
I had it parked in a bad neighborhood, and I forgot to lock the back door. It was my
sell
fault.
It later. Oh,
yeah.
Boo. Yeah, that's
fine.
A bummer. That sucks.
So
a long time ago. The Barron was dope. I kind of miss it. I mean, it's like I use gear level, and then I use on an iPad radar scope, and like over 60% of the time I'm using radar scope because it's just so much easier.
That's how we roll.
And I only use gear level because it has so many features. Like when I'm in the storm, it's like it's more fun to use gear level because radar scope can get. It's just basic, different tilts of reflectivity. It doesn't have like all the cool.
Right.
Yeah, you've got a good point there.
Yeah, there's lots of fun things stuff that.
Yeah, but I don't like all that when I'm chasing. I'd like to use my eyes if I can, and if I can't, that's why John and I went back to old school, literally, to where old school as you can get. At this moment, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, we use radar scope mainly, and then use our eyes and try to keep from getting our head too buried in the radar, I think.
Well, yeah, but I'd like to use just radar scope or paper maps. Yes, we still
I was bummed when
we still have paper maps, and we don't roll them. But we still use paper maps, and that's it. I mean,
it sucks that Microsoft quit using streets and maps.
Oh, that was fantastic.
It was amazing.
It's not
had
there
like
anymore.
cattle trails.
Oh
on
yeah,
it. Like
just
you could-
look exactly where you went.
We were using that for a while. And then
Yeah.
it's gone.
we were.
Yeah, we did.
Oh.
We did
Streets
that
and
thing-
trips or
Yeah, exactly.
whatever it was.
Yeah,
when I
streets,
worked with the Weather
something like
Channel
that.
there for a
Then
year.
DeLorme came out with something that was kind
I
of.
got 3 guys talking about that, and I'm like, I was probably looking.
It was a
at the
PC
sky,
thing. So we had the,
going, oh, look at that tornado.
You had to buy dongles.
And they're
'cause
looking
you had to
at
have, you had
streets
to have
and
like
maps.
multiple. You had to have multiple GPS dongles. You'd have one dongle for GR level to show your position on
Right.
the. You'd have another dongle for streets and maps. You'd have another dongle.
Yeah.
It was just like, and they're all
It's
like
too much.
fighting. Like you assign the paths for that, but like, you got some beat up computer and it just got messy. And then
hit
like,
the comm limit.
Yeah, exactly. COM 2, 3, 4. And then then you hit a bump and like the whole thing falls over and you break one of the GPS things and then it's like, okay, who gets turned off?
Well, then somebody came out with that GPS gate software where you could split it via software. It was like a
GPS
virtual.
game. Yeah.
Oh my God, you guys are.
Because you have to have another dongle.
You guys are nerds.
If you want to be Mr. Mobile Spotter and do the automatic
Do everything.
Nerds.
Right.
that's a whole nother channel that you have to have.
Yep. Yeah,
And
Spotter
look,
net.
we got
Spotter
a
network,
cat
yeah.
sitting over here, by the way.
Yeah.
A
I've
couple
got
cats.
I've got a cat on my lap, and I went up and fed him and tried to get him out of our hair, but they're back. So
Yeah, they want to say, okay, seriously. You were on the Linwood storm, weren't you?
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
8th, 2019, living
Yeah.
in Kansas.
Yeah.
We I'm trying to think how the day started.
Come into your mic a little bit. There you go.
Yeah, we were that was day one I only had about 8 to 11 days this year to go out.
I remember that.
And that was day one. And I had a new guy with me. I'd never chased before, so that was his day one. It was like so he was like, whoa.
Never chased, ever.
No, he's an LA guy.
Oh, shit.
He just wanted to go.
An LA guy, that's
Yeah.
always a bad idea. Because, I mean,
way to break 'em in.
I've known a few LA guys that have come out like, oh, this is fine. Fuck this shit. I'm going to go back. I'll deal with earthquakes and fires. But, yeah. Go ahead.
We just like, we
Let's say, did you start down near Wichita? Or
we were down south and we got up and you couldn't see anything. It was just a blob. Like it was, in fact, I wasn't even certain. It was the storm of the day, but it appeared that it didn't have any traditional
Had it started yet, or was it
characteristics
just
about
starting?
it that was like, oh, this is going to tornado. It wasn't.
It was the structure was not something you could tell a whole lot about, I guess.
Yeah, it was just like amoeba looking. It was big.
Yeah.
And that was down near Emporia, I imagine, where that started. Yeah.
And we got and as we were approaching it, like immediately we heard the sirens going off and like there wasn't really good signal for a while. We didn't have like amazing radar signal, like cell phone tower signal. And then
That's that area. It's a really shitty area
like,
for signals.
out of nowhere, all of a sudden there's debris, like big debris. Like we had to sousal ourselves through a road before we had to cut our way through a road. And then we pulled up on Linwood, and I think there was one other chaser there. The rest of the chasers had, a better idea what was going on. They were already past Linwood and in a better position than we were. We got caught behind the storm, and everyone else was in front of it.
I see.
Where we wanted to be. But we rolled up on this big ritzy neighborhood, and there was nobody there except for civilians. There's no emergency vehicles, and
Wow.
like there was still stuff floating to the ground from
So
where
we were literally right behind
behind
the
it.
tornado.
yeah, like there was stuff was falling on the ground, and we just jumped into. I was like, okay, we got to stop, and we got to start going door to door, because like every single house in this small, it was like big big kind of fancy retired people bought a house type thing. There was new builds, just wrecked. These homes were just wrecked. And so, and there's a bunch of other people there too that were doing the same thing. Everyone just stopped and got out of their cars and started going house to house. And then in the frenzy of it, I wasn't paying attention. And like we had all the gear on, you know, iPad, laptop, and had all the windows down. And we just jumped out of the truck with the doors open and ran off. And like 5 minutes later, torrential downpour.
Oh my!
And we didn't even.
What was that from, John? Bring out the Met.
It was just the rain in the back.
It was just rain on the back of the storm wrapping around, and there was other radio echoes behind that storm as well, as I remember. So it got messier behind it as it went along. So.
Yeah, and when we went, I remember the first house we went to. There's no one there. The residents weren't in the house, or they were gone.
Yeah.
Went to the next house, and it was a retired couple that had. What are those animals? They're not llamas. They're
the alpacas.
Alpacas.
Oh, yeah,
Alpacas. They had 3 alpacas, and now they have 1 alpaca, and it was like mangled alpaca in the backyard. It was like really. I don't know what happened to it. If it got picked up or hit with debris, but it was really bad. Yeah. And they like I walked up to the house, and there was a car, like a Prius, that was in the garage door, where it had been parked in front of the garage door, and the Prius had been thrown into the garage through the door. And then I looked in the house, and the front door was shut, but the left side of the house was gone, and you could see all the way to their master bedroom closet. It just like everything was gone.
So it took like one side of the house and
just sort of sucked everything out, including walls. And then they came out with the cat and the kitty carrier and the guy. And I've seen this numerous times.
They obviously survived.
They did. They had a basement.
Good.
Almost all the homes there had a basement. So like but it just never gets old. Like the guy, I was like, "Are you okay?" And the only thing he could say, he was like, "I just lost everything. I lost everything." And I was like, "Is there anyone else in the house?" And he's like, "I lost everything." I was like,
Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
like that's a big shock.
And we went to several other houses, and then first responders started showing up, fire trucks and police and ambulances, and we went back to the truck, which was fortunately I chased an FJ Cruiser, which is all plastic and fiberglass on the inside, so you can literally like sweep it out. There's nothing in there that could get screwed up, but it was like literally there's 2 inches of water in my car because I left all the windows down.
Oh no!
But fortunately, I have an old cop Tough Book computer. There's like water floating on the keyboard, but they're made for that.
That's awesome.
They're made for that. You just blow it off. It doesn't hurt it at all.
Really?
Yeah. You can drive. Google the Tough Books. You see people like driving over on dump trucks. Now they're slow as hell, and they're like the mouse. You have to like push down and move your finger.
But it works.
But it works for that kind of crap.
But hey, you know what?
But we weren't ready for that on a rain level. Like we were soaked. We didn't put our ponchos on. We didn't do any of that. We just ran.
Right.
And so we're soaked all the way to the bone. But that was day one. And then looking back at it, like we couldn't leave. Like all the roads going towards the storm were blocked, closed, trees. Mm-hmm. The cops blocked it, which is becoming more and more frequent. Like it just kind of is really annoying. That happened 2 or 3 more times. Like we're on a storm, and some sheriff guy decides he's going to block the road because there's a storm ahead, and we're like. We pull up, we're like, hey, what's going on? They're like, oh, can't go this way. There's a tornado.
That's an issue that will be talked about on this show, by the way.
Like, there is no tornado.
Always an issue.
And you wouldn't know if there was a tornado. You're a 30-year-old sheriff in a county. And now I got to go backtrack because why are you blocking? This is so stupid.
Sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not so good.
I mean, blocking a tornado on the ground in front that you can see, I understand that.
Yeah, and I've had that happen several times.
Yeah, he got arrested.
Well,
You know about that, right?
Well, we're not going to talk about that today.
Yeah.
Jeremy.
No,
Yeah, I've
seriously.
been arrested, but not for anything that cool.
No, he actually got arrested and he said, tornado's going this way, left to right. And yeah.
Well, somebody said I ran a roadblock, and I didn't. It was just a guy with amber lights parked halfway on and halfway off the road.
Some other
and I
chaser did
passed him,
something
and he
really
said
bad.
I'd gone through a roadblock. But whatever, we won't get into that. But anyhow, yeah,
I still think it's funny.
It is
But-
funny. It
but
is funny. We'll talk about
his
it
problem
sometime.
was he talked back to the cop. Shouldn't have done that.
No, well,
Bad idea.
Well, he was not very kind to me either. So let's just
Well,
put it
fair
that
enough.
Do you remember that
way. Yeah.
that meteorologist from OU that got arrested by a Kansas cop? Like it was a doctorate. Like he was with Josh and everyone.
I had forgot about that, and you'll have to refresh my memory on that.
Yeah,
'cause
they pulled.
I don't know about this.
It was It was in a team following one of the Dows, and this cop pulls him over, and these are like doctored meteorologists, like
Yeah.
grown adults, and they pulled him out of the car, cuffed him, put him in the cop car, and
I don't know about this.
yeah, they get him to the.
Well, they were very quiet about it.
They got him to the station, and about a few hours later, they got a phone call, and they're like, "Leave your badge and the gun. You're fired, sir. I want to apologize." And they let him go, because he called the school, and the school
school got him out. Yeah.
called the mayor. It's just, I don't remember
Yeah,
exactly.
they pulled the strings.
Yeah, it was like, 'cause
What?
the guy took a grown man and slammed him up against the cop car.
You know
for no
more
reason.
about this community than I do. That's amazing.
Yeah,
No, I mean, I wasn't there either. I mean, it could have been exaggerated to me a little bit.
Yeah, I need to
but-
look, see if there's anything about that out there.
It was
because
years
I
ago.
heard
It was a long
about
time
it,
ago.
But I wasn't
I
clear
never.
of any of the details.
Well, I
on it.
tried not to pay attention to all the shenanigans that happens, but I mean, sometimes it's in your face, so you have
I mean,
to.
there's some good
but
cops out
wow.
there, but there's a whole bunch that aren't.
Yeah, and
No,
Western
the cops
Kansas, you
that
gotta
I've
be
dealt
careful.
with. I mean, my father was a firefighter. And
Firefighters are different. They're different.
But I was
different kind
raised
of
with
first
cops and
responder.
firefighters and first responders, so I know how to deal with them. Believe me, he and I have been pulled over several times, and nothing but a warning.
Yeah.
Not that we were doing anything wrong, but there was one that was really bad in Colorado. That was just
Like Eastern Colorado.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And near Cheyenne Wells, yeah.
Yeah, total
Shauna
dick.
knows how to talk
He
to
was
these
a
guys. and
total
she was-
dick.
But she handled it very
called
well.
him Boss
I kept my
Hog.
mouth shut. And
And he pulled us over and he said, "I don't like your kind here." And I said, "Oh, I'm so sorry, sir. Whatever we can do for you, whatever. I'm sorry. We're just here to, do our thing." And he's like, "I don't like you chasers around here." I'm like, "I totally get that." And I do. I said, "But we're not like the others that, we weren't trying to speed through here." And I didn't think we
I missed
were.
one speed
In fact,
sign
I was
where
on
I
the
went
phone
down
with
to
you,
25,
Skivers.
so I was going about
So it's
10
your
over.
fault.
Yeah.
I was actually on the phone with you when I got pulled over. So, yeah.
I didn't mean to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's your fault. So, but no, afterwards, then he was like, "All right, then you guys can leave." But the other time, it was, we were just sitting on the side of the road near Salina, trying to get a good view, and a cop comes up, like, "What are you doing?" Like, thought we were up to something. And I'm like, just watching the weather for you,
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, you need to move from here." And it's like, "Fair enough, I will. Where should I go?" And he said, "You can go up to our firehouse." I went, "Fair enough." And he said, "Oh, wait, by the way, what should I tell people when they're on the road what to do?" And I was like, "Are you kidding me that you're asking me this right now?"
Yeah.
Seriously.
Most of the time, most
I mean,
interactions
he was a really
I've had-
nice guy, but I
Yeah.
was like, I said, "Well, tell them not to be there, and if they are, don't go under overpasses." And that's all I got. I mean, at that point,
Yeah.
there's no answer.
Well, he was nice.
Anywho,
He was nice.
I digress.
Yeah. Go ahead,
Thank you.
Jeremy.
Well, most interactions I've had with police are always like, "Hey, where's it at?"
Right.
They always say, "Where's it at?" Like there's like
Yeah. Where's the action?
because it's always like, "Well, I got an RV dealer down the road. When this guy's freaking out, what do I tell him?" And
Right.
I try to explain, "Okay, well, here's the storm. Here's where we are. He's like, well, when's it going to come here? I'm like, well, I don't know. It's heading east-northeast at 20 knots, and it could be here. It could right move. It could top heavy and start curving back to the due east. But
that's really nice. They work with them.
But I've only had one incident. It was 2017. It wasn't even an incident. We were with Bill and Anna. We were way down South Texas, like by the Mexican border.
Okay.
Like softball hailstorm was the only thing out. We were in the, what do you call that part of Texas?
The Big Bend, or maybe deep South Texas.
It was
different areas there.
There's nobody out there but us and Bill and Anna, because we're the only ones crazy enough. Like we have to, like we have this many days.
Yeah, you guys are crazy.
We have time to chase, so we're gonna do it.
We have this many days,
right?
And so we're gonna drive 15 hours to the middle of nowhere with no cell phone reception out there. It's the hill countries. That whole area sucks because you just have, but it's open, so you use your eyeballs.
Yeah.
But your radar is kind of off the chain there. It's just spotty, but it's Texas. You can see everything. And we're on the side of the road, and one of the guys that goes with me is African American. And we're all standing out there, and this Texas, good old Texas.
Oh, good old boy.
They pull up, they pass us.
Again, I love all police.
Stop.
I was raised with them, but
I do not.
Yeah.
I'm not a cop guy. I don't do the Blue Lives Matter thing.
Oh, well,
me.
I grew up with cops, so the ones I know were cool, but also
all the ones that I know are legit guys, and there's probably hundreds of thousands more that are great.
Right.
There's just a few that aren't.
Right.
Exactly.
Anywho, sorry.
So it's man and a woman cop in a team in a big Chevy SUV. They pass us. We're on the side of the road watching a storm. We have cameras, tripods, my truck with antennas all over. It's pretty obvious what we're doing.
Right.
They lock it up on a state highway, back up, pass us, and stop. And roll the window, and they're like, what's going on here? And I start walking, and he goes, don't move. And I was like,
oh, here we go.
Shoot.
And then they pull up, and the woman rolls the window down, and she says something else, and I can't hear her, so I start to move, and she gets out of the car with her hand on her gun. She's like, did you not hear the direct order that you were given? And I was like,
great, here we go.
Wow. And then the guy gets out, and he goes, you guys storm chasers? And I was like, yeah. He's like, oh, okay. What's going to be happening? And I was like, well, there's a storm.
Well, at that point,
like,
though, did you get to not have to stop anymore?
Yeah, well, I'm having an anxiety attack, and my friend from Atlanta is just cracking up, laughing at me because then the cops leave, and he's like, I'm like, what? He goes,
but I mean, they said to stop and back up.
Yeah,
but did they actually say you can put your hands down now and then talk to you?
Well, they didn't say put your hands up. They just it was just completely unnecessary. And my friend was like, that's what it's like being black. Just so you know. That's why he was laughing at me. I was like, did you see that? He's like, dude, I see that every time. That's how we are treated.
That's not
That is how, and that's the only reason that why they did that is because I had a black friend with me with his hat on backwards shooting a storm. If we were all white dudes, it would have been a completely different situation. 100%.
That's a bunch of bullshit.
100%.
Sorry. Bunch of bullshit.
It's a cop thing.
I know, I get it, but I don't like it. I can get it, but I can't like it.
Yeah, it's a problem. But it'll hopefully it gets better. Hopefully people,
So let's pivot a little bit and talk about your new song. Well, you have a new one that just dropped today, but let's talk about the one. Say my name.
What's my name?
What's my name? Yeah.
Or what's my name? Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All good.
Sorry.
No, they're both common.
MXMS.
Yeah, MXMS, which is the band I've been active with for the past 4 or 5 years.
I mean, I could talk about all your bands, but I mean,
well, MXMS is the one that's we're the ones that we're working, we're touring, and
right.
Yeah. So what's my name? We wrote that a while ago and sort of had it on the back burner. It's a piano ballad. And
it's beautiful.
We were sort of hesitant to put it out early on because like we had all this more up tempo stuff that we wanted to get out the door first.
Sure.
And then we dropped that. So we wanted to line it up in a correct way because What's My Name it's about, the song was written about that point in your developmental years in school. Let's say middle school, maybe high school.
It reminds me of Mad World.
Yeah,
the song.
Mad World.
Yeah.
You know that moment when you're being surrounded by either classmates or maybe even a teacher, and you're getting tag teamed with the words, and everyone's joining in, calling you fat, ugly, this, that, whatever the verbiage is, and that point where, as a young person, it goes over the line, and the thoughts go from I want to sink to the wall to I want to die, or I want you to die, and I'm willing to do something about it right now.
Nailed it.
That point, and that's what the whole song is written about. Is that window when things go static, when you're just like, this has got to stop right now, and I'm willing to go to an extreme to do that. And that's what we wrote that song about. And we waited until National Suicide Prevention Day to release the audio, and then we released the video on Bullying Awareness Day. So it was like a double awareness holiday release for the audio and the video.
It's a beautiful song. It really is, and it's a great
video's
video.
Incredible.
I've watched it like I don't know,
my friend Carrie
10+ times.
My friend Carrie Longchamps in Detroit is a urban explorer photographer. Like he's that guy, like going to jail, breaking into, he gets footage from all over the world of abandoned, beautiful buildings like mental hospitals and old churches and theaters and castles and stuff like that. And he approached us on tour. We played a show in Detroit, and he's like, hey, would you ever want to do something here? I can get into all these buildings. And I just wrote his name down and called him one day. I was like, hey, we have this song. And I showed it to him, and he's like, oh, I really,
so that's
really
like
like this.
That video.
Everything's in Detroit.
Wow.
Yeah. We had to fly up there twice. I got arrested. Carrie got arrested. Like trespassing charges.
Damn it! What'd you do now, man?
No, the judge threw it out.
God, you're like
the judge threw it out.
You're like my second son. Like, damn it! What'd you do now?
Fortunately, the cop, was there's a big school in the middle of Detroit called Wayne University.
Yeah,
and we were in the jurisdiction of Wayne University police. Mm-hmm. They're still real police officers, but it's more like it'd be like Kansas State Police or whatever. And the guy wrote the ticket wrong. So there was not a sign that said no trespassing, and there was no one on the property saying, hey, you need to leave. So technically, I think we were loitering, not
trespassing.
You have to, there's So the guy wrote the ticket wrong for both of us, and the DA is like, this is an incorrect ticket. So
still obviously got the video out.
Yeah.
And man, it has made
a huge
impact because
it took so many days
even
to shoot that.
I put it and you got me to out some stuff about myself that I've never talked about. Suicide. I talked about suicides that's happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in
your family,
in my family, and all that I've been through, and to tie this to storm chasing, and I hate to talk about this because it's such a Debbie Downer situation, but it's true. I do think there's something about us that chase storms that we have some sort of mental illness.
I mean, we're literally getting in a car and driving towards something.
Yeah, I mean, why do we do this
on a regular basis?
Yeah, I mean that is so messed up.
It's not messed up.
I already know I've got anxiety, and I have. And I'm bipolar. I own it. I'm outing myself right now. And
fine.
But I'm attracted to scary. But this is the type of scary that I'm attracted to.
Yeah, you're attracted to risk.
Yes. But not all risk, just weather. Mm-hmm. And I think it's because I'm also attracted to science. I love science. So it kind of goes hand in hand. But I do believe that there is some sort of connection with mental illness and storm chasing. I mean, what do you boys think? Please don't leave me out here in the dark.
The guy, who's the guy we talked about, that Jason, is that his name? The guy that spoke?
Yeah, Dr. Jason Pearsoff.
Yeah,
right.
Pearsoff.
Yeah,
So
Dr. Pearsoff. He's awesome.
His speech was
really great.
I had no idea that was where that was going. I was like, wow.
Yeah. No, I mean, I've known.
Because I related
many
immediately
people
to being in Oklahoma. I had stuff to do. I had people waiting on me to do that stuff, and I would deliberately stop what I was doing, let people down, and become unavailable just to go chase a storm and spend money on fuel and neglect all of my life stuff because there might be a storm today. And so
why
because it's that thing of like, well, it's an addiction at that point where I'm willing to lie to my girlfriend, call in sick to work, spend money I don't have that is due for rent in a week, and I'll go spend it on fuel and just to go chase a storm when it's May. There's going to be a storm in 2 days, and that not having the ability to moderate that behavior and go, okay, I'm not chasing today. I'm at work. I'm going to chase next week, and shut it down and not have that thing where you're like just looking at your phone, like, oh, there's a storm. Being able to separate that. If you can't do that, you have an addiction. If you have an addiction,
that overtook everything else.
It would do that, and I can relate that back to partying. You can add it into anger, sex. There's like what whack-a-mole are we looking at here that is in your life?
Oh, that's brilliant.
That gets in between where it doesn't go, it's not like, okay, my problem is I'm addicted to storms. There's a deeper underlying issue. Do I like myself? Do I feel valid? Do I feel worthy? Am I enough? Do I have to chase in order to feel inclusive?
Thank you.
That people will like me? Are these,
right.
Is my life good enough today? No, I have to go chase to make it better because I'm not enough. But you got to look at the underlying issue.
I see that with a lot of chasers, that if they don't get it, if they don't get the storm, if they don't get that stuff, then they just go insane. But when they do, they're just elated and almost too egoic about it. They have to brag like so much. I see this very high, low lows with chasers. Yeah. I mean, you guys see this?
I remember I have this feeling. I don't know if you guys can relate, but sometimes when I'm out, and it's usually like now it's day 4 or 5, and on a chasecation, if you call it that, and we're out there, we're really far away. The storm got linear, and so it's time to call it. And I'm like, man, I'm in the middle of nowhere, spending hundreds of dollars. Why am I doing this? Why am I out here in Iowa now?
I have felt that too.
And like, am I a loser? Like, you just like, it's like this weird sort of dark.
But
because I'm not getting the high anymore.
What the fuck am I doing out here? I have other things I could be doing.
An hour ago, when the storm was rotating, and everything was exciting, I was high. Right. I was, and now it's a shitty squall line, and now I got to find a place to camp and eat, and I'm not high anymore, and now I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing?
Clarity starts kicking in.
I could be home earning money right now.
Right. It's a real crash.
I have a career.
That's what I'm saying. There's other things I could be doing right now.
And I can't stop because I'm 900 miles away from my flight, so I can't just turn it off. I'm stuck out here. I'm with
committed
a bunch of people. And then it goes away, or I'll smoke or I'll do whatever I can do to make that low.
Try being a female and a mom. And I'm like, oh my God, I should be with my son right now.
I've had that.
When it's a bust, especially when it's a bust, it's like I could have spent this whole fucking day with my kid, and I blew it on a stupid chase that I blew this forecast on. And
you have to do the drive of shame back home. We're just like,
the drive
uber
of shame.
Tired.
That's a good name for it.
Oh my God, so much shame, and it's the worst. Skywars, you understand, right?
Oh yeah, I've been there. Yeah, I've had times when I'm out there and I'm just, you end up getting a sunburn and,
Well, how'd you feel about that?
I kind of wanted to hightail it back home. I mean, I've had those before too, where I've, gone camping and, it gets rained out and it's going to be raining for 3 days. And I'm like, I don't really want to sit here. Time's better served at home with a kid.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's rough though. But with everything, whether it's a kid or work,
whatever's calling you home.
Yeah. I've talked to a lot of chasers about this. This is a common thing, but it also gets to be an obsession that you have to be the best. You have to be number one. You have to be the first one on the storm, the first one on it, the first one right up on the storm and right up on that tornado and just get that shot.
Well,
that is so stupid.
I haven't really had that because, it's exciting when you actually do that, but it's usually an accident. It's like, I know I can say that the handful of times
you nailed it, man.
The handful of times that I was like, I've been sitting there for 20 minutes, and then you see other chasers pull up. You're like, oh, I was the first guy. Shit, I had no idea. I thought because usually when you're by yourself on a storm and you're the only chaser, it means you fucked up,
right?
And everybody else is on that back storm that's really doing something.
Yeah,
which has happened.
Keep talking,
1,000
man.
Times. It's unbelievable when there's a middle storm, there's a north storm, and there's a south storm, and they're exactly alike, and they're all being pushed by the same front.
Yep.
And they're all creeping around the same dry line, and there's really not a clear. Is it which door? Door 1, 2, or 3?
Yeah.
And every single time.
Let's make a deal.
Yeah. Every single time I pick the south one, the north one fires. Every single time. Of course. And then I turn around and go try to catch up to the north one, and the south one fires.
Yes.
And I turn, and then I'm just like, fuck.
But yeah.
Always like, it's a gamble. I mean,
it is a gamble.
Then there's little variances that I want to be more knowledgeable on, that because I'll talk to people,
see, that's what I'm getting at right there.
The guy
you just said,
my buddy from Palm Springs, from Palm Desert, that takes the F5 tours out. Not F5. God dang it! I always draw a blank.
But
you'd kill me.
I want to get back to why we do this and what drives us so insane to where we lose
Greg
our
Potter.
family.
I don't know if you know him, Greg Potter.
No, I don't know him.
Greg's great.
That's cool. Yeah.
He's always like, well, if you look at this, and he'll tell me something that like, oh, I didn't even think of that. There's like something happening, especially in the upper levels, that caused him to choose the storm that fired first. He's like, well, why would you go to the south one, the north one? There's this, and I was like, oh shit, I forgot. Because I never think to tilt up and see what's happening at 10,000 feet, like 20,000 feet, 30,000 feet.
Flying in from LA, and then do you fly in or you drive?
Now I fly in because my catalytic converters are shot on my FJ, so I can't smog it. So I leave it here.
So that sucker's a goner.
No, it's fine. It's just
it still rolls.
Yeah, catalytic converter.
It's just not Kelly.
He'd get in trouble in California.
Yeah, I can't smog it.
Just leave it out here.
Oh yeah, you're screwed. You're screwed in Cali.
So I used to drive out here. Now I just leave this thing in Oklahoma. So I fly
Fair
out.
enough. So that's what you do is you drive that sucker out, and if you go out for how long do you go out? I guess it depends
on tour schedule always.
Okay.
I try to do at least.
Do you chase
8 to 12
around
days.
your touring?
No, definitely chased while touring on accident.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, I've driven a van and a trailer through a hurricane before on purpose.
For fuck's sake.
Literally, my tour manager's like, "We're not going this way." I was like, "I pay you. We're going this way." It was Rita. We drove right through
God,
it.
you're crazy.
We played Baton Rouge that night. We were on stage and the cops.
I so love you.
The cops walked in and said, "You're not playing a show. You guys need to leave immediately." Not even 5 minutes later, power went out.
Jesus
And
Christ.
so we loaded up, and our next show was San Antonio to the west. And the smart thing to do would be to go north all the way up and then drop
Back
down.
around.
Right.
No.
We went
But
west.
you said, no, let's just take
Yeah.
I-10 or whatever
Through
it is
it,
and
plow
go.
through
right?
it.
High five
And
that.
we're like, it was within a couple hours. I very much regretted. I probably had a couple of drinky poos too when I was making that call.
You know,
But my tour
happens.
manager had his elbows at the bottom of the steering wheel and his like this.
oh my God, you're killing me. Yet again.
I'd never seen. So there's a lot of low-lying,
Oh my
marshy,
God, you're killing me.
marshy stuff. Like, and we're on like I don't even think we're on the 10. We're on some state road, and I looked out to my right in the lightning flashes, and everything was flooded. Like it looked like the Gulf of Mexico. I just saw waves of water.
Yeah.
In these, and I looked at the road.
You're in the surge. Do you understand
yeah,
that?
and I'm looking at the road, and I started to see
Yeah.
the water, and I was like. And I'm like, oh my God, we're going to die. Literally, it's the first. And I looked, and the only people on the road
That's what I would think.
was the National Guard. And they were flashing their lights at us to go the other way. Like they were all going this way, and we're going this way. And it's just Humvees driving down the road, literally,
Okay.
and tree trucks.
Wow.
And we're going
We
into
barely
the
know, Jeremy, just so.
This was
Yeah,
2005.
the government knows.
And
Yeah, I remember Rita. Yeah.
And,
I'm just kidding.
and it was, we had to pee in the van. We literally could not open the doors.
So you had
one
the Dumb and Dumber thing where
we
you had
could
to
not
get
open the
the
door.
empty beer can.
Mountain Dew
things and-
bottles.
There you go.
And we couldn't. It was. I'd
I
never
don't
seen
want a
anything
visual
like
on
that.
that, just so you know, but I get your
Yeah,
point.
that was. It was
Well,
an interesting,
totally get it.
very long night.
Well, it
that
sounds like you
drive
got
was.
Yeah,
you
I
got through
bet
to
it
San
was.
Antonio
That's
eventually.
We
so
did get
that's
it. We
good.
played a show the next night. It was-
Awesome.
And
wow.
you still made your show.
we made the show. Yeah.
Hey, now that's a true blue.
My
decision.
drummer got under the
And a
seat
storm
and called his
chaser.
mom, started crying. It was hilarious.
Now you go
Okay.
after you go after tropic stuff too, just
Yeah.
kind of like not on accident too.
No,
what's
yeah.
your craziest storm there?
I would say New York, 2012. What's the name?
The Superstorm
Sandy
Sandy.
or-
Superstorm Sandy.
Yeah.
That was Sandy. Yeah.
So again, I had music business up there anyway, but it was wow, that was, I was looking at the data and I didn't understand why everyone was losing their mind, because to me it seemed like a small hurricane, like a
Really
substantial hurricane. But everyone's like, it's going to be catastrophic. It's like, come on, guys. Like, I thought it was the media's overblown.
Right,
again.
it's offshore.
Yeah, and like the track, the spaghetti model wasn't like direct hit to Manhattan.
Yeah, it was kind of skirting it or just
Yeah.
glancing below, I guess you would say. It
Yeah,
was
and we're
bad
in-
enough as it was, but yeah.
We were in just south of Hoboken, and when it hit, like I didn't know it was going to do that. Like everything went to shit. Trees fell down,
Okay.
flooded everything, ruined the subway. So it was catastrophic. Our show got canceled 2 days later.
Wow.
We had to move to Boston. But flying to hurricanes, I have very bad luck. Every time I fly, I've got to fly to the wrong city, and like
You flew into Florida to chase Dorian this year, didn't you?
yeah. So it was the weekend.
Yes, I know,
I had
because
to
you were
DJ.
texting me every damn 5 minutes.
Yeah, it was like-
just so you know.
I was looking
tricky
at
one.
it. I was
He
looking
really
at it,
was.
and they kept changing them. Like I love Mike's weather page. Is all it. You ever been to that website? It's this guy in
Yeah,
Florida.
I've seen it.
Um,
yeah.
Yep.
So I'm looking at the spaghetti. I'm reading everything, and it's just like every 3 hours, it's a completely
Something
change.
different. Yeah, because the upper level winds were so weak in that little area. The models kept changing their mind. Is it going to drift this way or that way?
I
What's
remember
gonna
when
do?
you texted me during that.
Wow.
And where'd you end up the last time I talked to you?
Well, I had the DJ on Saturday, and I decided like, okay, I'm not going to go to this. It's not happening. Then I woke up on Sunday, and they were like, direct hit Fort Lauderdale. It's gonna that was the
Right.
and more than
It was
one
in
model.
Alabama. Just kidding.
Yeah.
I couldn't resist. That was too easy.
More
I mean, seriously, that was too easy.
more than more than one model said, okay, this is going to come due west.
Right.
And I was like, and I looked it up online, looked up flights that were still just unbelievably cheap. And Orlando's really cheap to fly to, and I think
Yeah,
it's
it is.
subsidized for vacations. So
Right.
Yeah.
you can go to Orlando in 24 hours notice for like $200
Right.
anytime. So I was like, you know what? I'll go. When I booked it,
I know that because you called me.
when I landed, completely different story. It was like, rip.
Totally different.
Yeah,
I
it
was
did.
like, oh no.
Parked
But do
itself
you
over the
remember-
northern Bahamas, unfortunately, and then just sat there, and then it went due north.
Yeah.
Finally.
And Gabriel Cox, a chaser from Texas, but who is originally from Florida, he took off and with a whole team and drove all the way to Jacksonville from Austin. And he set up camp in Jacksonville, and he got some dope shit. He got some great shots of the surge and the.
I just remember your text to me. Where's the hurricane at? And it was over the Bahamas. And unfortunately,
Yeah, sad
I
situation.
definitely knew. I
there.
definitely
and
knew
you
where
said, "What's the emotion?" I said,
the 0.
1.
It was 1. Yeah.
At that point, it was even before it was 0. It was,
Oh, that was when I was on the
and
plane,
you didn't
right?
believe me.
I think so. Yeah.
No, I think, yeah, you might have been on the plane or you might have just landed. But you said, "What's the direction and motion?" I said, "Going west at 1." And you went, "Nuh-uh," or "No way." And I said, "I am not fucking kidding you. It is 1."
Yeah, I had a. I eventually
You didn't believe me.
I drove south to get as close to the beach area, but they had already.
Closed all that off.
Oh yeah,
probably,
Florida's pro at that. They
Yeah,
had
they-
everything.
To get out to the
Right.
beaches and go over the bridges to go over
Right.
get to the outer beaches.
I
so
got
you can't
over
do it.
one bridge.
Yeah.
And then the second one was blocked off. They were letting residents in and out, but everything was closed. But the hurricane was still, and it just sat there at the Bahamas and sat,
Yeah.
as we all know. And
And that was really sad what happened there. But
some of the video from there was just unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I know.
But I'm gonna
I
second.
agree.
I flew to Houston for 2 years ago for Harvey. Was it Harvey?
Yeah, I think it's Harvey.
Yeah.
The H
So,
storm.
but we didn't go. No, I didn't fly. Three of us drove down there. More humanitarian stuff. So we drove a Prius down to
After the hurricane,
to Rock.
or
Rock. What's the beach? Rock.
I can't remember. There's Rockport,
Rockport.
Texas.
Rockport,
Is it
yeah.
Rockport? Yes.
So we went down there and we hooked up with team a Rubicon firefighter team down there.
oh yeah,
That Randy hooked me up with.
yeah.
And they gave us a list of needs, and we rented like 3 30-foot U-Hauls. So what had happened was the beach, there's landfall. You saw some of the iconic photos of remember the boat shack where all the boats were in the
yes.
trees?
Yeah.
Like we drove right by that. It was unbelievable in real life. I was like, what is this?
So you,
But beyond
you
that,
went in afterwards.
right after, like a
Right
day
after.
after. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The storm is just past spring at this point, heading into
Okay.
Georgia. And so what had happened was, and this seems to happen a lot, is everyone, especially in the South, everyone springs into action and starts dumping supplies and aid on where they think there's a problem. So the storm made landfall. Yeah, I was talking to people about it, especially the fire, like some of these storm, like
On
FEMA
Harvey.
stuff. Yeah, so I was talking to people that worked that were FEMA volunteers and FEMA helpers, and they're like, yeah, what happens is like 17 churches will bring 40,000 bottles of water to the wrong town because they look on a map and go,
I have read that in the news.
yeah, and so down right on the beach, which is hit by hurricanes all the
It's
time,
super hard to.
and they were
figure that
fine.
out.
They were
Yeah.
fine. Like they didn't have
Yeah.
the hurricane wasn't the problem with Harvey. It was the flooding.
Yes, it was.
So the hurricane hit, and it jacked a whole bunch of stuff up, but not any more than normal, and it moved on into Houston, and that's when everything went to shit because it just dumped all that
That's
water.
how we felt about Joplin tornado. We went there to go back and help clean up, and it was so disorganized. It was just
Well, nobody's ready for something like Joplin.
no. I mean,
Nobody was ready for it.
Did you know that they actually pulled in elephants from the St. Louis Zoo to help move rubble?
Well, that's
Here
when
at that
FEMA was
one-
having some
I heard that one.
funding problems, I think, at that point. Yeah. I
Yeah, if
agree.
you're bringing
Yes.
elephants in, you got some funding problems.
Yeah, and when we went there to go and help clean up, we saw all these people, and with all due respect, in suits that were all state representatives and all that, and which should be helping us. Going to go look, and moments. We all are in like mass that within 30 minutes we're like black.
Black, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's still like an aura of just ick, everywhere. And I just was like, it took everything I had not to go off on these people. Seriously. It's like, okay, so you get to go do all this nice stuff. We're going to go out and help. And one of the guys that was leading it stepped on my foot and pretty much crushed it. But I thought, wait, why are we out here doing all this stuff and all these state people are just, we're just going to look at it. Okay.
Yeah.
That's it. No. Because look, there's going to be more. There's going to be more Joplins. There's going to be more hurricanes. There's going to be a lot more.
Especially
a lot more.
Oh, yeah.
We've got to be prepared for this. We've got to get FEMA back on track. I think FEMA's a little bit in disarray right now. And
I feel like on a golf level, Katrina freaked everybody out, so things are better now.
Yeah, woke a lot of people up.
Yeah, that definitely woke up. I mean, that was.
I'm not quite sure about that.
I remember it's better than what happened to Katrina. I mean, I remember we were on tour, and I remember it was right after the storm, right after Katrina. Like they had opened up the 10 and the 12 about 4 weeks before. We were able to pass through. We weren't playing New Orleans. We were passing through on the way to like probably Tallahassee or something. And I remember driving over the bridges. Oh my God. Like I'd never seen anything like it. Like there's still like military weapons everywhere.
Right.
And like everything was underwater. Everything was destroyed. It looked like a
horrific
movie. It looked like a freaking movie. It's back before we had
like California right now. The fires.
The fires are getting. I've been in California a long time, and it wasn't like that. I mean, we always had some bad Santa Ana fires here and there, but nothing
by the
like
way,
this.
Since you live in LA now and you have for a very long time, what are your thoughts on that? Sorry to switch real quick, but I'd like to get your viewpoint because I don't understand that.
So basically what happens is California will dry up. There'll still be like 4 or 5 months of zero rain, not even a drop. And the Santa Ana winds will pick up, which they are right now, or that there's like a heavy wind environment. And, you got PG&E, which has, their substations, a lot of them are overgrown. There's wooded areas. That's what happened on the fires last year. And
that's why they shut the power down.
They're shutting. Right? Yeah, they're shutting. There's millions of people without power right now.
Yeah.
Like,
wow, I don't know.
And all it takes is one.
Anyways, because of Aaron Brockovich. So.
Well, yeah, that's a whole nother. There's that.
Yeah.
But there's. I don't know. I don't know why there's so many fires. Of course, some of my super conspiracy theory friends they're like, well, the havoc and panic of a fire is there's somebody behind this and they're setting them on fire to cause when there's havoc and panic.
I've
people
actually
fall
heard that too, or I've read it.
I'm not buying that, but you never know.
You never know. I mean, look at
I don't know why anybody would do it, but I mean, did you hear about the Missouri man that flew? So
he did like 12 or 13 fires or something.
Super
crazy.
Trump.
Wait, what? No.
Older white male bought a ticket, flew to Ventura County, and set 13 wildfires on purpose to burn Democratic California to the ground. And then got on a plane, flew back. Somebody watched him do it.
Yeah, so I was not familiar with this.
The cops are waiting for him. Did they arrest him back here?
Yeah, I think they got him back here.
Okay.
Some dude thought he was going. Because it was like a month ago, right?
Yeah.
No, one of his fires is still burning. I think there's one of those fires is still burning. But most of them didn't. He would literally get out of the car and light the median on fire. It was really.
Don't
I guess you could
people
say,
have better things to do
out,
with their goddamn time? I mean, for fuck's sake, seriously, I am so sick and tired of people trying to start shit just to start shit.
There just needs to be. I mean,
oh my, we have enough with natural stuff, and that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, like I just got a text, like Bel Air is on fire right now. Like Bel Air
is?
Beverly Hills, yeah.
Oh, well.
The Bel Air is just a little west of it, but that whole area, there's a big, LA's in a basin.
Right.
So, and there's some mountains right there that
I know where Bel
eventually
Air is.
connect to
Oh,
the Los
that's not
Angeles.
good.
Yeah, and it's on, I remember
Most people won't give a crap because Bel Air is rich people.
right. But
so
still, there's
Billy Joe and Bobby Sue.
like
my
Arnold
my
Schwarzenegger
cousins-
evacuated today, literally.
Really?
Yeah.
The governor, he had to
Like
evacuate.
I said,
LeBron, I think LeBron had to evacuate too.
Yeah, I heard that.
LeBron did.
I heard that.
But Billy Joe and Betty Sue in their mobile home in southern Missouri, my cousins, they give zero fucks about this.
About the California fires.
No, why would they?
Beverly, you got a lot of historic homes out there too.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
But it doesn't
a lot
affect
of rich
them.
Hollywood
It's
history.
so funny how like my people think that the fires are political. Like, well,
No.
Yeah.
You're,
They're
you
not.
just need to move out of there because them
It's like-
Californian liberals are just why there's on fire.
Yeah, our political climate right now just encourages a lot of crazy stuff, like you just.
Yeah.
But like if
Describe.
there was another tri-state tornado right now, that would get so much play. Don't you guys think?
Could.
Oh, like a super big long track. Like,
Yes, like
there hasn't
like,
been a-
like I said, tri-state. Like it goes through.
when was
3
the
states
last
or-
like super long track
Oh,
thing?
geez.
Tuscaloosa, maybe.
Well, it's hard to say as far as track. I know, when you look at the, it was April 27th, 2011, there's so many tornadoes and around 300
there's
people
so
died
many.
from so many different tornadoes.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's of the same magnitude, though I don't think the path lengths were as long as the tri-state tornado that day.
What was the
See, that-
Alabama tornado from back in the day that in the late 70s that killed all those people?
Yeah, I think you're thinking of the one that,
1978, I think?
Yeah, and I'd have to go look that up. But I think that's the one that hit near Birmingham, which seems
Yeah,
to
and
be
just went like
a typical track.
all the way up
Yeah.
the state.
But see,
Yes.
and thing is with like Tuscaloosa or Joplin, even
Mm-hmm.
it's like it devastates so much land and also kills so many people for these fires. And bless their hearts again. All my heart goes out to them. It's decimating their land and stuff, but they have a minute to get out. Whereas a tornado, you don't, unless you're really paying
Unless
attention.
you're awake and you
Yeah.
have
Or
really
you
radio.
have to-
Yeah.
And so there's like Joplin, it was like, gosh, 300 or
No, it was about 100 and close to 160
Oh, I
people
thought
died.
so.
No, and Joplin wasn't
I'm
particularly
thinking of-
long, but it sure hit in a populated area.
I just said Joplin.
Yes, that's what
So
that's what I was referring to.
To be honest, I firmly believe that hundreds of people are alive today because of the new cell phone warning system.
Yeah.
Oh, I
think
agree.
that's
It's huge.
excellent.
For me as a chaser,
Good
it's
point.
annoying, like because as you're chasing, like your phone's
I
going
know.
off the whole
I know.
time.
I issued the report that made that alarm go
Yeah.
off. I know.
It's just like bzz, bzz, like constantly. But like, I mean, think about it. Nobody's watching. Well, I mean, maybe your aunt is watching KWTV, the local. Everyone else is watching Netflix or HBO, or
Yeah.
they're playing video games. They're on iPad.
They're not.
And-
There's no EMS system built into
They're
Netflix.
not.
Right.
And they don't
But
care.
your device, which as we all know is permanently glued to your hand, everybody,
Yes.
even your boomer,
While you're
Grandma.
watching Netflix.
right?
Yeah.
That's going to go off, and when it says tornado, it's not a tornado 5 miles away.
Oh, no.
Like you were.
Geofenced.
Yeah.
You're right in that area
Right
where
there.
they've issued that.
And so that I feel like that's definitely saved way more lives than a siren. I think
Yeah, excellent
oh,
point.
yeah, because
Excellent point.
I mean, I can.
because that wasn't there 5 years ago.
Well, it's the first networked indoor warning system next to the, RF one that they had for actual the weather radios.
Yeah, it's a deal because especially like the other day, my brother lives in he's he works in the emergency room in Dallas,
Okay.
Yeah.
and Sunday night
Really?
he lives in Plano,
he a
North
doctor?
Dallas. He's a ER nurse.
Oh, awesome
And-
sauce.
And I'm hanging out, not paying attention to weather because I'm in LA. And he calls me and he's like, "Hey man, what's going on?" And I
There
was
goes
like,
tornado warning. Yeah.
I was like, "Oh well, I mean, look, it's October, probably not look." And it's like, "Whoa, where are you?" I was like, he gave me his where he was at. I was like, "Dude, go ahead and pull over right now." He was like coming up 45, and I was like, "Stop." I was like, "Where's your house?" He's like, "Here." I was like, "Oh, dude, he's got a wife and a newborn baby, right in the path of this storm." It had chilled out by that point, but like I was like, "Oh shit,
God, that's scary."
Like nobody was ready for that night. Nobody was.
Yeah.
Well, thankfully, I'm not aware of any major injuries on that.
No,
and
not at all.
There's no deaths. So.
No deaths, no.
And they had pretty good warnings on it. So, and like you say, I think the cell phone thing really is a big game changer.
That's why he called me, was that he was driving and it went off. And so he called me. He's like, "Bro, what's happening? I'm driving." I was like, "Dude, stop driving. Just pull over and let it go by you." Because he was doing this.
He's driving right into the store.
Driving right into the southeast side.
Bad idea.
Yeah.
Like
Bad
it would be where I would be driving on purpose too.
You're right.
In the dark.
Well, good for you to help him out there with that. Wow.
Well, I'm gonna wrap this up for the night.
Sounds good.
And Jeremy, thank you so much.
Well, thank you guys for having me.
All the
Appreciate
way from La La Land.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hollywood.
Where can we hear your new song that's dropping today?
MXMS is the name. It's on all your DSPs, so Spotify, Apple Music, or wherever you like to stream or download music. No physical yet,
I want
unfortunately.
to say my name in the new song that just dropped.
The new in Death Row just came out today. Saying it's all on Spotify, wherever.
Okay.
The whole catalog.
I've been pipping the Say My Name thing because
what's my name is the name of it.
Sorry, what's my name? I just
Say My Name. Who is that? Is that?
But I didn't
Say My Name. Say My Name. That's
no.
Breaking Bad or Walter White.
I don't know. I could have sworn she said that, and I felt bad. And she's so beautiful. I mean, and she's such a lovely singer. And I felt bad. I'm sorry.
Well, what's her name? It's Ariel.
Ariel Levitan.
She's so lovely.
She's very good.
I'm trying to get her to come to a chase.
There you go.
Oh, please. I need women.
But her mom would kill me if I took her on a date. They're New Yorkers.
But anyways,
chase storms.
But what's my name? And I've pimped it on my Facebook page, and so
cool. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes, and I want to hear your new song. And Jeremy, you gonna chase this year?
I hope so.
Are you gonna go to ChaserCon?
Last one.
Yes.
Last
The
chance.
last one.
Probably the last one in Denver, I think. Yeah.
So somebody's going to take it. Somebody will do it.
Somebody probably will at some point.
It's probably not going to be
that I've heard
as
of.
organized.
I don't know. I really don't at this point.
I don't know, but
It's kind of what really spurred me to get this thing kind of off the ground and finally speaking. You know, I've been thinking about doing a podcast for about 3-4 years now, and then when I heard ChaserCon was going bye-bye, I'm like, we got to have something that's going to be a catalyst for the Chaser community.
And we will be doing this there.
Yeah, we'll have a little table there. So
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So
we'd love to have you. You'll get to interview like everybody at that point.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Talk
Tim into it. You should have Tim get on for like 4 hours and just tell jokes the whole time. He's amazing. Yeah. So funny.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, thank you, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thanks
it.
for having
Thanks for coming out.
Yes, thank you, Jeremy.
You rule. I love you and what you're doing as a musician and as a chaser and as a friend. I love you.
I love you too. Thanks for having me out.
Appreciate
You're beautiful.
Cool.
All right.
I'll see you guys out there.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. What the Weather Podcast.
That's it. We're out.
Toodles.